we are starting to see a metagame for Crimson Blaze, and basically it's starting to solidify because I threw a tournament with 200 people. At the same weekend, there was another tournament that had 1,000 people. It was a crazy weekend for Pokemon TCG Pocket, and I'm gonna compare all of the metagames that we have right here. So in the tournament that I had, we had 31 Hydreigon Mega Absol EXs. We had Magnezone and Mega Absol, 25 of them. We had Greninja and Altaria, 20 of them in the meta in our tournament as well. Suicune and Greninja, 17. Jolteon, which won 2 of my last tournaments. We have 10 of them. Whimsicott at 9. Megalopony just starting to drop. It went from, it was very popular in the last couple of days, but now it dropped to 7. So basically, these decks right here are becoming the most common ones that we are seeing around. Not to mention, in the one that was with 1,000 people, it had 183 Hydreigon Mega Absol, 104 Megalopony and Lucario. So that deck was seeing a lot of popularity during the week, but definitely falling off. We have Magnezone and Mega Absol with 81 entries, 61 entries for Suninja. Jolteon over here is popular at 43 decks that were entered out of 1,000. We have Whimsicott 38. The meta is pretty much, solidifying into this list right here. As you can see, it could go all the way up to the Altaria, Jolteon, Magnezone with, Darkrai. That's also a popular take. I'm gonna go over the best decks you guys should be playing, and yeah, so the first deck I want to go over is this Altaria Furfrou deck. This won my tournament, and overall, Furfrou is so strong with Rocky Helmet. The fact that you take -20 from any attack is amazing. It makes it a 2-hit KO type of a Pokemon, which means your opponent is going to take 40 damage automatically, which is kind of crazy when you have the Rocky Helmet equipped. Not only that, you play Elekid and Tyrogue. Elekid also comes super clutch when you're running double Cyrus, and you can start, damaging the bench. You do have Mega Altaria that, deals 130 with a full bench, which you could take advantage with Elekid, to finish the job, or use Cyrus to drag them out. Tyrogue is in there for extra chip damage and an extra body as well, because you also want to be hitting, the front row Pokemon as well. Obviously, the Swablues. Sing is major. I feel like Sing is so broken. It is insane. If you guys watch the VOD, you'll see crazy Swablu plays with the RNG. Double Cyrus, double Professor's Research, one Licia, one Serena for the consistency because you want to see Mega Altaria. Double Pokeball, one Repel. So Repel is pretty nice when people like to hide in front of, their Chingling or one of those Pokemon that, have 0 retreat costs and stuff like that. If they're hiding with a damaged Mega Pokemon, you could force them in an awkward position where you could, knock out their potential, only go-to Pokemon. Red card for Hand Disruption, and of course, the Rocky Helmets. Let's go into the next deck, which I want to talk about. And this one got second place in my tournament as well. It's Magnezone Oricorio with Tyrogue and Chingling. Not this one, I'm sorry. This did not get second place, but it placed really well. This deck right here is super powerful, right? Magnezone with the buffed, buffed HP and the attack as well, because it makes your opponent have to flip a coin in order to attack. So they have to land heads in order to attack, and that makes things a little hard. Now that you have Magnemite with the 50 HP, you got Licia and then Clement to search Magneton. So, your pieces are getting there, and they're getting there quick. That being said, Tyrogue is there to put in some chip damage with Slappy Knuckles, and then we got Chingling to stop your opponent from playing the game with item cards, which Chingling is just super broken. We got May for the consistency, because you're always going to see the Clement and the Licia. So, if you're seeing other Pokemon, you definitely want to, up your chances to getting Magnezone. Copycat is a staple now. It's being played in almost every single deck. You should be running this card. We have Cyrus, Mars, and 2 Pokeballs. Next up, we have Greninja EX. Greninja EX is going to be a solid pick for any tournament, any ladder, any event that you want to play in. This deck right here has proven time after time that it's not going away anytime soon, so I would recommend you guys pick this up and play it while you still can, because Suicune and I feel like within the next pack Suicune might get rotated out, but this is your chance if you still love the water deck. Greninja being able to shift around everywhere is amazing, and bypass the sleep with its ability. There's so much RNG going on with confusion and everything like that as well. One thing I want to recommend for you guys to play is Suicune Greninja. Next up, there are many variants of Jolteon EX, but this deck right here went 9-0 in my tournament before it got knocked out in the top cut. This deck overall is just super strong. It's bare bones, just Jolteon. Nothing new in this deck from like the Crimson Blaze. Jolteon just got better simply because your opponents rely on a lot of energy attachment, and Jolteon takes advantage of that, and it is very, very strong in this format. And if you're looking for something that's more on the anti-meta, this is the deck you have to play, like, if you love that playstyle, Next up, this deck is going to be the most debated one, because arguably it was a good meta call for this weekend, super strong, and arguably could be contender of the best deck of the format. Like, this deck right here just racks up so many wins in this format. Greninja just abusing the back row. You do have Cyrus, Mega Altaria hitting freely for 130. Chingling is also being played with double Copycat. This deck is amazing and super consistent. Just like everyone that was playing it this weekend had so much success with it. So this is another deck you're gonna have to keep your eye on, and hasn't really changed since Mega Rising, but overall great pick for the meta right now. Now, Darkrai, Mega Absol, and Magnezone is a very strong pick. So Dark Magnezone, you play Dark Energy in this build, and you really just use you just use Electric Energy to build up with Magneton. You only need 1 Electric Energy. You play 1 and 1 of the Magnezones, because 110 damage is good when you could hit, but 90 damage is also kind of insane with the ability of making your opponent coin flip for their attacks. So it's good to have both, and different options. Once you have Clement, you're really in a good position to pivot to which one you want, and you have cards like Copycat to help you out, search your Magnezones. Chingling is just meta breaking. It prevents all the red cards, it prevents Pokeballs and all these pesky item cards. And then you do play Licia because you want to search your Magnemites and Chinglings to prevent your opponent from playing. Mega Absol is a backup attacker, so you could rip cards from your opponent's hand. Darkrai is also there for a backup attacker. He not only is he chipping, he's also attacking for 100. And Sabrina's pretty good with Cyrus. Just overall having 1 and 1 is an advantage, because there are situational plays where Sabrina just comes in so handy, where like you could disrupt your opponent's energy flow and in the early games, or just Sabrina for the win. Next up, that did super well is the Whimsicott deck. So Whimsicott is being cut down to 1, with the Cottony being down to 1. Now, that being said, it is insane because Kartana is super strong here, because you attack for 40 anywhere on the field and then just come in, not everywhere in the field, obviously not in the bench, but like in the active zone, and to deal with Oricorio. 40 damage is pretty good because Whimsicott gives you time to build up your bench with Spinarak, Ariados, and it lets you build up with Cottony and Whimsicott. Quick Grow Extract is insane in this deck. It just synergizes so well. You have Licia that searches, your Cottony and Spinarak, so odds are you're gonna star one of them, right? You have Pokeball to search out, your Kartanas and Cottony as well. We got Leaf Cave to make Whimsicott potentially all the way up to 170, and this deck hits like a truck if you let it set up. And the Giovanni just pushes for magic numbers, as in getting those kills on Mega Pokemon or other EX Pokemon, guaranteed, even if you don't have the Ariados set up. The next deck I want to talk about that's seen the most entrance in both tournaments in general is the dark type Mega Absol. Mega Absol is insane with Hydreigon. Hydreigon is just hitting for 130 everywhere, and you still have to respect that deck because overall it just steals games, wins games, and it is insane. So this deck hasn't really changed that much from the last one, but you're playing double Cyrus with the Absol because you do attack the back row. Hydreigon can definitely force Mega Pokemon to retreat. So double Cyrus, I feel like, is a good meta call right now with Sabrina, because you could also Sabrina them into their deities or into Magnezone or anything that they have in the back row that they're trying to save or defend. You're playing Cape to heal in deity to make the Hydreigon live a little bit longer. Like, the deck is overall solid, and yeah. And lastly, I want to go over the deck that won the $1,000 tournament. It was Mega Altaria EX with Sableye and Jirachi. Now, like, this goes back to the old Mega Rising format where you had access basically to Sableye to, destroy the Oricorio, Jirachi to attack anything around the field. Chingling is always good to prevent your opponent from playing the game. Item cards. Rocky Helmet is just super solid in this deck with, Giovanni, Licia, and, Cyrus. This deck overall just performed really well, and, I'm just gonna say it now, and almost any version of Mega Altaria is going to be like the contender for the best deck of this format. So keep your eyes open on the rest of this format, because like this is what you're going to be seeing in the upcoming weeks for rank when it does come on January 9th, and anything for these ribbon events as well, and tournaments if you guys are participating in tournaments.